So I have no one to blame but myself, right? Hey guys, welcome back to the vlog, and today I've got an update for you guys. I'm actually headed to get some lotion on. Hands a bit itchy. And I have you in a new little place here, my little cell phone holder. Let's see if this will work instead of trying to put you on the dash. Anyway, I'm headed to go pick up some medicine. Finally running out of my Lexapro that I need to go pick up. My doctor called it in, or my doctor's office called it in. Got it filled for me, who I absolutely love back in Florida. Hold on. There we go. It's a little loud. But anyway, so kind of wanted to give you an update of what's going on with me. And how I've been feeling lately. I have officially gained all my weight back. So now I'm back at ground zero. 20 pounds is a lot of weight to gain. And I gained it in September, October, November, December, January. Now we're in February. 5 months. 10, 15, 20, 20. That's about 4 pounds a month, dude. And it's sad. It's really, really sad, but I'm back. I have to get back on the eating right, and it's been hard. It really has been hard. It's been difficult. One, because my depression is something serious, and I'm an emotional eater. So I'll eat just about anything. Not anything. Like, you know, my go-to is junk food, chips, and, you know, sweets, candy. And as much as I shouldn't eat it, I do. So I have no one to blame but myself, right? So I feel like there's a shift that's going to be happening soon within me. One, because we're going to be moving into this new apartment or transferring in. You guys, I know if you've been watching the past videos, you guys will know that we should be in there very soon. It's very exciting. We've already visited the apartment, and it's so much more. There's so much more space, and it doesn't feel, I mean, it's an apartment style, so you know you're an apartment, but you don't feel cramped up. You don't feel, you know, like you're about to lose your flippin' mind. And, you know, right now, our one little bedroom dungeon has got crap everywhere. And it is so hard. So hard to deal with. Hey, you guys like my piggies? Thought I'd do something a little different one because it's raining up here, and I'm getting tired of washing my hair and wetting my hair. And I've been trying all kinds of things with my hair, Diva Curl, and although it's been working, not like, you know, like, oh my gosh, Diva Girl is like the bomb. I'm not really, unless I just have to continue to use it. You know, that thing called consistency, being consistent about something and continue to use it. But anyway, so I'm on my way to get my medication, and I thought I'd give you guys kind of an update of what's been going on. I have been fighting my depression, you guys. My anxiety, it's just been on another level. But so that you guys can kind of get an idea of what my struggle has been like, and how I've been struggling, and how I was determined or diagnosed with depression. I've actually been dealing with depression since of high school. And really didn't know that I had depression in high school. I just dealt with a lot of personal things with my dad being missing. Not missing, but just MIA. Just not in the picture. He chose a life that was more important to him than being with his family, being with his kids. You know, I have a total of, there's like a total of 7 of us, I believe. And the number seems to be growing every time I hear he's either adopted or is stepfather to, or, oh no, surprise, he did have a younger one. And so what kept my emotions in check in regards to that was I always thought that I was the baby of his extravaganza. And I don't know why I always felt that way. Maybe because my mom was his last marriage, from what I collected, and so I always assumed that I was the youngest of the bunch. Then found out a few years ago that is not true. That is not accurate. Which really hit me in the gut, you guys. I then come across the girl's picture and find out that she looks just like me. So you know when they say you've got a twin somewhere in the world, so she looks just like me. And I always thought that I was one of a kind. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, I dealt with that. So my dad was a really big issue. And I'm referencing him to you guys as my dad because I don't reference him as my dad. I always call him by his nickname, Papo, because I don't know him. My mom and he had kind of split up when I was like 2 or 3 years old, and he came back maybe twice actually. And the second time was not a pleasant time in my life. I was pregnant with my oldest son, and let's just say that some words were not the best of how he described my condition and my situation, which really hit me. And so ever since then, I kind of just compared every guy that I dated to him, and always thought that if you can, you know, you'd have to be better than this guy, and if you don't, you miss it by just a skosh, just by a little, that's it, you're done. You're in the same bucket as him. You're in the same category as him, which is wrong in so many ways, and just not right, not fair. So anyway, I kind of started with that. That was what started my issues, and dating relationships never went well with me. I rebelled severely out of high school, kind of attacked the people that were in my life that I cared about, including my husband back then. My mom, never really blamed her of my father being missing, because that's something he chose to do, but I blamed the lack of emotion on her, unfortunately. I also had issues with, you know, a little bit of smoking here, smoking there. Yes, I did both cigarettes and weed. You know, some ganja, Mary Jane for some others. You know, roll it up, put it in a pipe, however way you want to smoke it. I smoked it. I even ate it. Hash browns. Hello. What are they called? Hash brownies or whatever. Laced brownies. I don't know. Maybe that's what got me into loving brownies. I don't know. Anyway, and then one uneventful thing happened. I did try to commit suicide. I was hospitalized because my depression really got me. It was really bad. So I struggled with that for a while when I was younger, and never really got over it. I always thought that I could. I was always antsy, triggered by anything. My attitude was really horrible. I'd fight with anybody, didn't care. I'd cut you with my tongue, didn't care. I would do things, didn't care. You know, I had a lot of issues, and I was an emotional wreck. Then, which led me to think, wow, something is really off with me. But I would always put it off, and I always figured, you know, cleaning was my answer. My mom is a military woman, so if you have any military peeps in your life, you know what this is like. Your house got to be spick and span. You got to be able to flick a coin off the bed, and if it doesn't bounce, it doesn't bounce. You know, it's not made. You got to redo it. The floors aren't clean right, you got to redo it. So I grew up that way, and I kind of just use that as my outlet, my cleaning. And so that's why I love to clean. I continue to do it, and it helps. It soothes me, believe it or not. Even the grossest things will soothe me, but I do it, and it makes me happy once it's done. But I also get triggered when it gets messy again. So, you know, with the kids messing things up, or even the husband, it's just, or even when friends come over, I'm like, or when I go to people's houses and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm not sitting on that sofa or whatever. But I always do it's okay, girl, it's okay, it's okay. And in the back of my head, I'm like, I ain't never coming back here. But yeah, I mean, there's like a lot of things that, you know, I would refer to and try to transfer my anxiety to. And I mean, all like the past jobs that I've had, I've always been just really clean. And, you know, I was really good in retail because I would fold the heck out of a t-shirt and fold, you know, make sure a tie was put away properly. The tie table, immaculate, y'all. You know who did it. So then growing into my young adult and having children, and that triggered more because I was a single mom for a while. And dealing with the emotions of that, I didn't do really good things even as a mom. You know, really bad choices, bad influences, bad judgment. And which led me to become a homebody. And, you know, funny to this day, at the age of 39, I'm okay with being a homebody. I think that's just, again, I think that's obviously, you know, related to my depression and back when I was younger. So then, you know, married, children, I just became this clean freak. And my husband will tell you, even when he and I met when we were in high school, he would come over and my bedroom was done differently. My house was always done differently. It always smelled clean. Has some Fabuloso on the floor, has some Pine Sol. The shower curtains were sheer, or not shower curtains, the window treatments were sheer, but they smell like, you know, fabric softener. Because that was always a trick. You know, you wash your clothes, you wash your shower or your curtains, but you don't dry them. You let them hang air dry on the windows, and you open the windows. Oh my gosh, the breeze and the smell, perfect. But that's kind of just how, you know, I was. And so then our lives that led to my husband being, you know, relocated to Ohio, you know, it was a trigger of my anxiety, and which catapulted me into this world of being just severely antsy. The slightest thing would just, I'm jumpy. Driving on the highway. My husband, just the other day, we were taking my son to go and see a college, and on the way back, he goes, honey, what's wrong? And I'm just, because I'm antsy. And it's because, one, I'm on a highway that I'm unfamiliar with, and then two, I'm on high alert. So like I'm white knuckling the heck out of the steering wheel and not want to be jumpy, and I'm just like this the whole time, and just didn't go so well. But we got to our destination, which was IKEA, and let's just say, needless to say, never drove the rest of that trip. I wasn't the most pleasant person to be around, let's just say. Only a handful of people know my anxiety, know the severe and the severity of my anxiety. And that is, one, my husband, two, my two best friends, and three, and they know exactly who they are, because one deals with anxiety herself, and the other one just has been around for a very long time. And you know, you know me, girl, so you know my anxiety, my level of anxiety, and she knows when I'm calling it to vent. She knows I just need to just let it be, let me vent. I've cried, I've called them crying, I've called them hysterical, I've called them freaking out, I've called them in the middle of the night, I've called them like, you know, it's just not easy. It's not the easiest. And so I feel bad because my husband thinks that his job is a trigger or a reason of my anxiety of the level that it's gone. It's not the reason why it's the way that it is. It's a trigger. And it's just been something that I've been dealing with for years. And I have been trying to self-treat until I finally went and got treated, medicated. And you would think that my first attempt, my only attempt, let's just put it that way, well, not my only attempt. So the first attempt of suicide was by pills. They had to pump my stomach, and they changed me to the bed, because then they were like, yep, she's gonna harm herself. And then my second attempt was cutting. It was a fear of doing it, but a relief of needing to do it and wanting to do it. And that was in my kitchen back at home with my parents, or my mom and my brother. And the knife wasn't sharp enough, but I think it was like a butter knife, quite honestly. So I was naive, but I was tired. I was tired of being unhappy. I was tired of feeling unable to complete things and always feeling a void. Then thought that my depression went away. Had my first son, depression came back. Had my second son. Postpartum depression is probably one of the worst things to go through, especially when you love a baby so much while you're carrying and you're going through all these things of names and just all these different things in life. And then he's born. And then you don't want anything to do with him. That was hard. For the first 2 or 3 months, I had to be on watch by my husband and by my physician. My physician did not release me out of her care because she was an OB. But her and I had built a really cool relationship. She delivered my first, and started seeing her when I was pregnant with my second, or my third, but then I became high risk. And so I could not continue to see her because she was a midwife. So anyway. So yeah, I was not released out of her care for, I think it was like 6 or 7 months. And, but the medication she put me on, I just did not like the feeling. I did not like how I was dealing with it. It was horrible. Then, while I'm going through all of this, I'm struggling within my faith and thinking I'll just turn to self-medication, such as drinking, you know. I always thought a glass of wine was good. 2 glasses was better. 3 glasses, I'm on top of the world, peeps. I was just, whew. So, I didn't do that while I was on watch with my middle son. I did that after my middle son. Just, you know, occasional drinking, not a big deal. Yeah. And then, took us a while to get pregnant with our third. But that happened, and I always knew that between my second and my third, my depression wasn't completely gone. I always had it. My anxiety was still there. Still had yet to get treated for it or seen for it. And I always thought cleaning was my answer. Cleaning was my answer. And then I went and I got pregnant with my third. And was on cloud 9. And I thought, this would distract me. This will keep me at ease. And it did not. Because that pregnancy just was horrible. I was fighting to keep him in, fighting for a healthy pregnancy, and from 14 weeks of pregnancy was horrible. Then he was born prematurely. He was born prematurely, and then that throws you through a loop because you're thinking, what did I do? I'm trying. I refused emergency surgery, and they told me, honey, if you don't have this baby now, you will have a stillborn because he is not getting the proper oxygen. He was born at 30 weeks, and he was the tiniest little thing I've ever seen in my life. He was in the hospital for an entire month, and just couldn't bear seeing him in the incubator. Or isolate is what they call them. But he was. It was horrible. And you want to talk about a level of depression. To see this little 3-pound baby, 3 pounds 11 ounces, in an isolate, so tiny, so fragile, couldn't even hold him. I said, I'm going to do everything in my power to be right, to get better. And nursed him until he was 13 weeks or 13 months. And went to mom-to-mom groups, at my church, that was held at my church, Bible study classes. Up until last year, had a speaker. The senior pastor's wife came into our class and discussed her journey of anxiety and discussed her journey of depression. And I then said, I have got to go and get examined. So I finally went and got examined, went to my physician, and called her. I text her because she's actually a family friend. I text her. I said, I can't, do you deal this? Do you handle with patients with this? Because I am on edge all the time. And so she says, yes. Her office actually scheduled me 2 months out. And I told her, okay, I'll see you in 2 months. And she says, no, this is unacceptable. She scheduled me, they called me back and they scheduled me within the next day. Went in, saw her, and lost it. And you want to talk about a level of ugly cry. This chick did on her table. And as I'm trying to explain it to her, I'm to the point of not being able to breathe. And I've experienced hyperventilation because I've done that before, where, being on edge and being antsy just to the point of unbreathing. You can't control your breathing. So that happened. And so she says, that's it. Let's put you on medication. Could not deal with the fact of what it was going to make me feel like, but I did it anyway. And for 2 whole weeks, I felt so unlike me. But I knew this time around, and my kids didn't want me to do it. And my husband's like, well, I thought you had it all under control. And I said, there's only so much that I can hide. And so I told my kids I would rather go 2 weeks of feeling unright and ill and give you a lifetime of a mom that you deserve, because they was receiving a mom that they did not deserve. And they have mentioned that they've noticed a huge difference. So my journey with depression and anxiety has not been something that's just been recent. It's been something that I've been dealing with since I was in high school. But I finally, as an adult, got treated. Because I couldn't narrow it down. Couldn't figure out what was going on. But I will tell you if you are dealing with this, you need to go get examined. You need to go and get treated. Go talk to someone. You know, there's so many things that pile up in our lives that we think, oh, it's not a big deal. We'll just move past it. It's not a big deal. No. Still deal with the idea of my dad not being around. And that now is because of me. My choice. Because we have gone to a point where I've forgiven him. And I will love him from afar. But I don't have a relationship because I don't want to seek that right now. And it's okay. And it's taken me this long for me to be okay with that. You don't have to be in the presence of someone you don't want to be and be pressured by society and be pressured what people think you should be because of what everyone expects and thinks it ought to be. And it's unfair for you as the person who's got to deal with it yourself. So, you know, I am still struggling with it. I'm still struggling with depression, still struggling with anxiety. And as long as I am able to stay on my meds and, you know, now I've got this thyroid issue that's been added to my plate, and the whole travel thing and relocating possibly and getting into this new apartment and having a house, an apartment full of boxes and stuff everywhere. Oh my Lanta! Ah! Well, there's the light at the end of the tunnel. Right? But it's manageable, right? That's what they say. It's manageable, it's manageable, it's manageable. So, my diet, I just have to do it. Just got to work on it, right? Just have to do it. You know, but it's okay to have those moments of cry. And trust me, I've had them recently. And all of that is because my oldest son is going off to college, you guys. Having your firstborn grow up and become the man that he's ought to be spiritually, you see him in that. Dang it, Targ, we did a pretty good job with raising him. The journey is yet to be over. So I'm about to go inside, pick up these meds because I only have one left for today, and get some groceries for dinner tonight. Because since I have not been able to do a grocery shop because we're moving, I need to get stuff for dinner. So I hope that my journey with my anxiety and my depression has helped you understand that it's not, it can come sudden and rapid, but then it's not just something that is sudden and rapid. It's something probably you've been dealing with for a while. So, love you peeps. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. I hope you consider sticking around and seeing what's to come. There's much more to come. This journey that I'm on with my depression, anxiety, and my thyroid is yet to be over. It's lifelong. I just need to learn to manage it, and I'm managing it. So, hope you guys stick around. And if you do, love you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Much love, and God bless.